Hey guys, welcome back to Raw Part 2 of Episode 3. And today we're going to talk about how to use Photoshop, specifically the hue and saturation tool, to help match skin tones. Now, to be honest, I don't know exactly why this happens, but typically, everybody has different types of skin tones on their body. I don't think anyone's like perfectly even unless they have like a perfect tan, you know what I'm talking about. So, sometimes your skin will be slightly different, or you might have like more pink in your face versus your hand. Like for instance, with my client here, as you can see, his hand is quite a little bit more yellow than his actual face. It's a lot more red. So this and sometimes I feel like using flash photography, this occurs. This tends to be a lot more noticeable when you start toning your image. It's like, oh wow, it's that light's making it stand out even more. So there's one way. There's many ways in Photoshop you can do this, but I'm gonna show you one quick way, so you can start learning how to use the different tools in Photoshop. We're gonna use the hue and saturation tool to help match his hand and his face. So as you can see, this is the raw file here, and building this up, all of my toning start to really bring out the fact that his face and hand are two different colors. Let's make this full screen. There we go. We're going to be using a layer mask, and we're going to be doing some hue and saturation color matching. Pretty much we're going to just make this as close as possible. So this is with it on and this is with it off. It's quite subtle, but if you look at his hand, I brought a little bit more warmth and pink tones to his hand. Now, let's delete this layer. Yes. So yeah, if you either hit Command U or go up to Image Adjustments and Hue and Saturation, you could bring up Hue and Saturation tab. Okay, let's start here. Let me just do it here. Alright, so I have my Hue and Saturation tab open over here. Let me get rid of this. Close group. Alright, so you can either go two ways. You can either add more pink to the hand or reduce the redness in his face. So for this layer, I'm going to reduce the redness in his face. So we'll say red face. Okay. Now you have a picker, color picker. You have the master slide, and this gives you all the different channels of colors, right? And your presets. We're not going to worry about presets. So what I like to do is click the hand here and find an area. Let's go about on his cheek. And this area is going to try to do its best to find what's the most common color wherever you click. So once I click, if you saw over here, it says reds. So that's where I'm clicking now. So I can either start clicking and holding and dragging this back. Now you can see I have a lot of control now. I can, and really it's just messing with the saturation. So I clicked it, and maybe we just go like -5. But the next thing you can do is under hue. Now you can really dial in and change the hue of his skin tone. So now we can add a little more yellow to help match his hand. So maybe +7, maybe +5 will be at. And if you turn that on and off, look at that. That did a lot, didn't it, right? And this is 2 simple clicks. But one thing you want to kind of watch out for is this is doing a general toning. So anything that had red or yellow in it is going to change. So this is where we start using our masking here. And so if you don't know how to use a mask, masks are to help hide and reveal certain things. So if you have a white mask, this white tab over here, that means you have to paint black. And whatever you paint black on is going to hide it. So our overall adjustment right now is affecting the entire image. Once we paint black over our mask, it's going to hide that certain area. So if I start painting on his hand, it's going to bring back the original color. And this is really sloppy. I don't have my pen tablet right now, so I'm using my mouse. So you're going to hear a lot of clicking. There. So now the adjustment is just affecting his face. And we can take this a step further Hopefully I won't lose anybody, but let's erase this. And this is a little bit more accurate. You want to, once you make your adjustment layer, right, this thing here, if you hit Command I on a Mac, it's going to inverse it to black. Now you have to paint white. So this means I'm going to have a much narrower target, I guess you could say that. I'm going to just be affecting one area that I want, and which is just the face. So now I'm going to take a brush and paint white. You can flip it, or you can hit X to change the brush to black and white colors, secondary, primary colors. Sorry about that. And now, as you can see, I am painting away the areas that I want. Rather than having an overall adjustment, I'm using my black mask and painting white to target the exact areas that I want to get rid of, which is the red on his face. And so now grab his ear maybe a little bit, because it's in the dark there. Make sure I get under it. I can make him feel like he had a really bad tan. That's terrible. But yeah, grab it in his cheek, get his chin. We'll keep the lips, because you gotta have some life in the lips. Grab his nose. Around there. Like I said, it's not gonna be as accurate, but for the sake of the video, yeah. So now if we pull back, maybe we can dial it down. If you ever want to change the opacity and flow, it's right up here. And I think by default, Photoshop is always gonna have 100%. And it's good to always, build up subtly. And so sometimes, like I just did, I just painted away at 100%, and that's what I needed for this example. But most of the time, I would take my flow down to maybe like a 20%, and then my opacity down maybe half that or so, and then build it up that way. But now I feel like his face matches his hand a bit better. Wouldn't you say? And so let's turn that on and off, right? And then now I can continue with my toning. So very simple. And you could do this again. You can go back down, go to hue and saturation. And let's say you just want to bring some more warmth in the yellows. Oh, it still says reds. Let me see yellows, what it does. Yeah. So anything that has like a yellowish tone, you can add, your reds to warm it up a bit more. And then try to get that flesh tone back. So I hope that's very helpful for you. If you didn't know how to use that, this is one quick example. Like I said, there's other examples to match skin tone. Flern has some other techniques to do that. I found this would be quite efficient for me, and then I can just make my detailed adjustments as I go along. And for the sake of it, I'll show you the rest of the toning. What I did, I brought in some contrast, and then I toned with curves, and I just added some blues and yellows. And so I do have another video that talks about coloring with tones, coloring with curves. So make sure to check that out. And then I added some desaturation to that, and then cleaned up the skin a little bit, and then boom. All right, guys. Thank you for listening, and make sure to like, subscribe, comment, please, and email me with any questions you have, and I'll try to answer them in videos like this moving forward. All right, have a great weekend. Peace.